Good evening, everyone. I'm Governor John Carney. Each year, tens of thousands of Delawareans give their time and talents to volunteer in their communities. They join together to make a difference in the lives of others. Their selfless efforts help us build a stronger, more resilient Delaware for all of us. These volunteers serve without expecting any reward or recognition. That's why it's a great privilege for me to be able to honor and celebrate their meaningful contributions to our state. Tonight, we are highlighting 48 individuals and 13 groups, and they are outstanding representatives of the tremendous spirit of service here in the First State. Despite the challenges that they encountered this past year, these honorees have helped to change the lives of people in need. And I'd like to congratulate everyone who has been selected to receive this honor. Thank you for your great work.
Babita Jagnanan of Newcastle County. Babita donates clothing, household items, and food to individuals, families, and organizations in need in Delaware through one-to-one distributions or via community giveaway events. The donations are largely through her family charity, Forget Me Not Families, or through partnerships. Through Babita's service, she can help remove the stresses of acquiring needed basic belongings, personal care products, and food for those who are struggling. During the pandemic, she has volunteered at multiple vaccination clinics, helping to organize directing traffic, even securing an RN to provide shots when there was a shortage. She also organizes holiday family meals for the homeless and anyone else who might not have a family as a resource for those uncertain times.
My name is Babita Jagnanan, and I live in Bear, Delaware. Here at Forget Me Not Families and any other local nonprofits that needs my help. I was just overwhelmed and just not sure. I was overwhelmed and unsure because I submitted some of my friends for the award. So I wasn't sure who it was for when they showed up, but it's just an amazing feeling to know that so many people just took time out of their schedule to submit me as an honoree. It makes me feel so grateful. I volunteer because there's so many struggling around us, and whenever there's a gap, you can just fill that gap. It does something for me also. It makes me realize that we are all bigger than ourselves, and we can all help someone, whether it's a smile or it's just to be there for someone.
Jeanette Butler of Newcastle County, after losing her son to an overdose in 2010. Mrs. Butler turned her pain into purpose by working with the inmates to find resources for addiction programs. Working with counselors, probation officers, and other agencies, Mrs. Butler eventually started an organization called Parents with Incarcerated Children, PWIC. She is also the founder of the Pardon Me project to help meet the needs of ex-offenders to remain in recovery and out of trouble, find jobs, and pursue expungement or pardon where possible. To date, she has helped more than 350 people through her work within the prison system.
My name is Jeanette Butler, and I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. And the service I perform are two entities. Two services I perform as Parents with Incarcerated Children, and I have the Pardon Me project. In 1997, I became a correctional officer for the prison in Smyrna, Delaware. I stayed there for 4 years, and then I transferred out up here to women's prison, and we stayed there. I worked in every prison in Delaware but Sussex County. During that period of time, I was a correctional officer. My son, my only child, came to jail behind a heroin addiction. Did not know he was on heroin at the time, had not a clue. He came there, I was in booking and receiving, I looked up at the camera, and then I looked down. Then when the doors open up, because it's like a sally port, they have to bring them in. My son was standing behind another gentleman, and my coworker knew it, and he called me. He said, "Butler, are you okay?" And I was just stunned. So that's how I become doing what I do now, helping other people. It was a long road. It was hard. He was in and out of prison for almost 4 or 5 years, and then he succumbed to the drug in 2010. So once he went on to be with the Lord, I just sat home. I went to psychiatrists. I did a lot. And then, because I was grieving real bad, like I said, he's my only son. And then I just got up one day and said, I'm going to help the people with the pain that I'm going through, to help them get through their pain. So that's when my pain became my purpose. So I just started helping. I called my sister, and I was like, Tracy. I said, guess what? I was crying. I said, Tracy, as I'm reading this right, that I was selected for a Governor's Award. And my sister was like, yeah, I know, we put you in for it. You deserve it. I was like, what? You put me in for it, never told me. So I was really surprised because, I didn't ever think she would do nothing like that. She know what I do, and she's always been a part of our organization, but never in my wildest dreams did I think I would get this. I'm honored. I'm so honored. I just cried. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just cried.
Diane Nichols of Newcastle County. Diane Nichols works with Literacy Delaware to help adults in Delaware with low literacy or English language skills. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, as in-person sessions ceased and alternate methods had to be found, Diane took the lead in finding online programs that would allow Literacy Delaware to continue delivering on its mission. Once a solution was found, Diane conducted training workshops for volunteer tutors to help them learn how to use this important tool. Now Diane continues as the lead for IXL program, tracking hours and scores for all those involved. Diane is also spearheading a multi-part professional development project for tutors.
My name is Diane Nichols, and my hometown is Newark, Delaware. I volunteer for Literacy Delaware. Literacy Delaware is an organization that provides reading instruction for adults that were not able to learn to read, whatever their circumstances. Many of our clients are English language learners. I specifically work with adults who have grown up in this country and for some reason were not able to learn to read. And so I work with them. Literacy is probably about the greatest gift you can give someone. Without it, people are really marginalized, unable to achieve a lot of things, but being able to read and write enables them to advance their education and increase their higher ability to have careers, to be able to support their families, to read to their children so that they also have the gift of literacy. I was totally shocked and surprised, but very thrilled and happy about it.
Diane Shiron of Sussex County. Diane Shiron's thousands of hours served at the Community Resource Center of Rehoboth Beach have enabled its food rescue program to fight the growing problem of food insecurity. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, needs have increased dramatically in the community, and Diane's commitment to managing both the volunteer and donor side of the operation and the distribution. Plus, she makes sure that people's needs are met as quickly as possible. Without her leadership, the Resource Center would not have been able to grow the way it has.
My name is Diane Shiron. My hometown is Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. I am the coordinator for the food rescue program run at the Community Resource Center. We serve people in our community who are in need of food. We are open Monday through Friday from 10 to 12:30. And the food we have comes exclusively from donations from just our neighbors and friends and people that know about us. But we also do a lot of rescue food. And when I say rescue, I mean we pick up from the grocery stores, Giant, Fresh Market. We pick up from Wawa. We pick up from Safeway on occasion and Weiss on occasion. And we are able to rescue that and bring it back to the center, and in turn give it to our neighbors and friends and clients and people that are in need. Well, it's a pretty big surprise and actually a shock. I think it's just a wonderful thing that you all do to go across the state and meet people that do different things and are contributing to our communities in different ways, and we all work together in some way to make things better for people that are in need. And occasionally these people are just a short-term need, and others are longer term, and they all have different situations and issues. But I think the award is a real wonderful thing that you do, and a blessing for sure. So I am grateful, and I thank you for the honor of this award.
Ed Scarborough of Sussex County. Ed Scarborough is a longtime volunteer who is always looking for a way to help. An avid volunteer through his life, Ed became an active volunteer with the American Red Cross of the National Capital and Greater Chesapeake region in 2016. There have been years where Ed is deployed to help victims of disasters across North America more days than he is at home. During his travels, you will always see Ed with his sidekick, Eddie the Red Cross Teddy, and the pair bring smiles everywhere they go. When COVID-19 struck in the spring of 2020, Ed had to take a break from deploying, but he didn't let the pandemic sideline him from helping. Ed began working to ensure that his neighbors had plenty to eat and made regular visits to various food pantries to pick up food that he could deliver to those in need.
My name is Ed Scarborough, and I live here in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. With the American Red Cross, the Delmarva chapter. When I first started back in 2016, that first year out of 365 days, I deployed 163 days, and I was called the chronic deployer and got an award from the Delmarva chapter. I'm retired, so I can go out sometimes from 2 weeks up to 4 weeks. And one time, I volunteered with the Canadian Red Cross during the British wildfires, and I was there for 5 weeks. I do this not to be rewarded. I do this because it satisfies the inside of me. It gives me so much warmth that I am giving to other people. I always believe that when we're created on this earth, that we all have a reason to give back, and it's up to us to find out how we can go about giving and making other people happy.
Ellen Mutener of Newcastle County. Ellen works to support several area nonprofits, including the Brandywine Zoo, the Natural History Museum, and the Friends of the Wilmington Parks. Her fundraising efforts help support operations at all three organizations. Her contribution to the Friends of the Wilmington Parks has grown the volunteer program to ensure that the Jasper Crane Rose Garden is tended year-round, and especially during the growing season. Working at the Brandywine Zoo, Ellen reads to children who are visiting, and at the Delaware Natural History Museum, Ellen feeds and cares for animals.
Hi, my name is Ellen Munter. I, I live in Westchester, Pennsylvania, although I do all my volunteering in Delaware. I volunteer at the Brandywine Zoo. I am also on the board of Friends of Wilmington Park, so we work with the park system. And I also volunteer at what was the Delaware Museum of Natural History and now is the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science. I started about 15 years ago at the zoo, and I helped to work with the animals. And then about 13, 14 years ago, my friend and I took over story time, and we do story time May through September every Thursday morning. And a lot of times we have 30, 40 kids coming to our story times. I also started on the board of Friends of Wilmington Parks. And about 6 years ago, the Rose Garden, which our organization helps to maintain, needed some help. So I took over the maintaining the Jasper Crane Rose Garden, not alone, but organizing. And now I have another fellow who's a very good friend who we do it together. And I'm proud to say that last year, I have this cough. Last year, we were actually told that the garden looked better than Longwood. So that was very special for us. And I also have been volunteering for quite a few years at the Museum of Nature and Science, where I have helped maintain the live animals and help with different programs. We've done breakfast with the bunny and breakfast with Santa and many, many other activities that I work with the animals there and take them out and show them to the visitors. Surprised, amazed. I did not know that my name had been submitted. So it was a real shock to be told that I had won, because I didn't even know there was an award like this. So honored.
Enyo Zargoza of Kent County. Enyo Zargoza spent thousands of hours each year working with Code Purple of Kent County. Through his work, Enyo has addressed food insecurity in the Dover area, helps those recovering from addiction, and supports individuals and families experiencing homelessness. Enyo also works with individuals who are exiting incarceration, helping with re-entry and providing resources. Because of the dedication Enyo exhibits, Code Purple of Kent County has been able to expand its mission capacity to meet growing needs.
Hey, my name is Enyo Emmanuel Zargoza, and my hometown is Dover, Delaware. Our nonprofit is Code Purple, Kent County. I was a child, I've been working in different aspects, and recently, just working with Code Purple has really opened my eyes up to helping out in homeless efforts, being able to facilitate Code Purple and other nonprofits as well in networking with different organizations and government bodies and trying to connect people together. So my role, in this realm that we're living in right now is to do work with homeless, try to help people in recovery from addiction, and also connect different organization leaders and different volunteers together so that we can maximize our efforts. I think from a young age, seeing the poverty levels in other third world countries, I went to my first humanitarian trip when I was 12, and I went to Ukraine. And then later on going to Honduras and Haiti and different countries, I started, as I grew up, I started to see that some of those circumstances and, lack of, access to healthcare are things that even people in the United States were experiencing and people were living in tent cities. And so when I saw that in Delaware, and I was living here and volunteering, I started to really see the need for more communication to happen with the actual people living on the streets and the resources, and also community members that really didn't know how to get involved. And there was a barrier to community, to them knowing what I can do to help people that are vulnerable, because sometimes, you know, different classes and do not associate because they just don't. And it's going to take people like myself to come out of our comfort zones and go out and meet people who you may never meet on a regular day basis. And if you don't, and they're just living in the trenches. So for me, it was just powerful to be able to see people come out of that, people who were living in a tent to be able to get into a RV, and then from an RV to a home or apartment. And so seeing that process happen over and over again is what really fuels me, because after people are able to get housed, they also are able to better find the purpose and fulfill it. I was in shock. I was super thankful. I think, awards and everything, you know, they are a sign that you're doing something right. And I think sometimes we, as a society, we look at the awards and we look at these different methods of tiering what people have done as a way to show success. But really, this award for me is like just an example that my whole team is on the right path, because I learned a long time ago that me, myself, you know, part of me being able to fulfill my purpose is having a good team around me and that are focused on the same goals, that are aligned. And that's really hard to find. And I'm really thankful that we have a very good nucleus of workers at Code Purple right now. And that's, you know, this award just means that they're doing a great job, because I'm just one person and we have 400 volunteers. And some of those volunteers, you know, they amaze me every day. And that's what this award is for me, and it's for all of them.
Gary Flash of Sussex County. Sometimes it is difficult to believe that Gary Flash is retired. Using skills gleaned from his career as a parks administrator, Gary dedicates himself to maintaining the Woodbridge High School cross-country trail, creating new and maintaining current trails at the Milestone Track in Chapel Branch Track for the Nanticoke River Watershed Conservancy. Working with Woodbridge cross-country team as a volunteer coach, skilled volunteers like Gary are vital to the work of nonprofits like the NRWC, because they are able to jump in and perform work with the level of expertise in the area where they are serving. Gary's knowledge of trail and tree maintenance enables the current conservancy to share beautiful natural spaces with the public.
My name is Gary Folk, and I'm a resident of Houston, Delaware. Yeah, one of my most favorite things is I've worked for 33 years for Delaware State Parks, so I have a real love for state parks. So I think one of my most favorite things that I do is volunteering for the Nanticoke River Watershed Conservancy, because it's the most like parks. For them, I do a lot of trail work, help build and construct trail. There's always a lot of cleaning up that needs to be done. Trees that happen to fall down or dangerous trees that need to be taken care of, and fix up on trail. We're always battling some erosion problems, so we always need to do some maintaining trails and also building new trails. That's some of the funnest stuff that I get into. I think what's inspired me the most is I was very blessed when I was in state parks. I was park superintendent at Killings Pond and later a park administrator. But we were very blessed with having a lot of volunteers, really good volunteers, work for us. And the work that they did was without them, I always said that they were the icing on top of the cake. We provided the cake and they always provided the icing, letting us get to do some really special things that we might not have gotten to had we not had the volunteer help. So I was always determined. I saw the blessing that I had bestowed on me having the volunteers. When I had the chance to retire, I wanted to do the same. I wanted to give something back to the community. So it was very important to me to get involved in volunteering. I feel very blessed and very honored to win the Governor's Award. I think volunteering is something that I'm proud to do, and I'm fortunate to do and blessed to do. Like I said, it was always very important for me. I don't have very much rest in my bones, so I want to keep busy anyhow. But I think that giving something back to the community and also giving back to others is very important. And if more of us do it, it's more of a kinder and gentler world. So I think that's very important to do, and I'm just proud to be able to do it.
Hadiah Gisson-Danner of Newcastle County. Hadiah Gisson-Danner served as a resident educator at the tuition-free Catholic boys' school, Nativity Preparation School. During her time there, Hadiah developed such incredible relationships with the administration, parents, and students that she was hired into a new role that was created to match her skill set and further the mission of the school. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Hadiah helped the school navigate first to virtual, then to hybrid learning, and finally reported the transition back to full-time in-person learning. Hadiah helped the school establish safety measures that have successfully prevented outbreaks.
My name is Hadiah Gisson-Danner, and I'm from Newcastle, Delaware. My volunteer service was spent as a resident teacher at Nativity Prep, where I taught 2 core classes, ELA and novel studies, and 1 elective class, life skills. My mom is really big on community service, where I would spend most of my time volunteering for churches, church events, other schools like Warner Elementary, Shortledge Elementary, Lewis Elementary School. And then I would give back to some of the middle schools like Kirk Middle School, Shoe Medill Middle School, and during the 4-H after school program. And then sometimes in the summer I would help when they would have their summer programs, their enrichment programs. You know, just giving back to the community. There's always a need, so just being there if and when needed. And then also going after my own needs and giving back to organizations that I find interesting. It's a very beautiful, humbling award. I'm so thankful to have gotten it, and my mom guiding me and keeping me on the right path to be able to be sure that there are things that are bigger than just me. So I'm very thankful, very grateful.
Harry Brake of Sussex County. Harry Brake is a constant volunteer. Harry is primarily involved with the Nanticoke River Watershed Conservancy, but he is always looking for a way to incorporate service into his life and the lives of his students. He leads the way in both maintaining and improving the Chapel Branch nature trails and engages students who use the trails for their cross-country team to give back by doing maintenance tasks and planning improvements. Harry also works with the local birding enthusiasts to help build birding and bat habitats in the area. This past year, Harry also worked on building a permanent 9/11 exhibit at the Woodbridge High School by getting students involved in recording interviews with survivors and creating a gallery walk of information for young people to be able to better understand the events of that day.
My name is Harry Brake. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, however, I'm a transplant to Delaware, and I live in Seaford, Delaware, and I work at the Woodbridge High School Library. I think how I initially became started in volunteer service when I was an English teacher. I was trying to find different ways to reach my students rather than the traditional. And anybody that's known me, for some reason, I just have a weird quirk with wanting to think outside the box when I do everything. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's tiring. But I think in that respect, by using my resources that maybe people wouldn't normally traditionally use, I was able to reach a lot of English students that way, so that led us to do a lot of things in the community. And we noticed, students and myself, that there wasn't a lot of curriculum-based learning that took its focus onto the community, so that became very appealing. From teaching the students how to write grants, to be able to go to parks, to be able to connect the curriculum and wrap it up. I think that's truly, when I was an English teacher, that's where it started, because it was able to help me get through the curriculum a lot more fluid and reach the students on a different level, where it just didn't feel like you were showing up and you're doing assignments, and it helped beat the norm basically. So that was great. And then after that, that led me to interest in other nonprofit organizations. I think really it was through that steps of trying to find something different than the norm in education. And that's what led me to the different nonprofits and to the different needs of wanting to do something in the community as far as project-based learning. I was really not taken aback, but taken by surprise, because for years and years it was always my goal to make sure that we push students in the forefront, and we always had nominated students in my early years as an English teacher, and every year a nice handful of students would always be nominated for Governor's Awards, and that was our goal every year, to figure out what could we do to get the students in full spotlight. So it's a little awkward for me to have the roles reversed and me be in that. I don't normally like the spotlight unless it has something to do with promoting a nonprofit, and I feel like that's the awesomest way to be in the spotlight, or reason to be in the spotlight, is to be able to use that spotlight to show what is possible and improve your community. So to say that it's an honor would be an understatement. It's very flattering to receive such a recommendation from such an organization and group of individuals, and especially the governor as well. But ultimately, I hope that a lot of people realize that as a tool or a vehicle that can better our community. So if it is a step to be able to do that, that's what I'm hoping that it would be. So it is an honor to receive that. Yes.
Joan Flaherty of Sussex County. Joan Flaherty serves as a volunteer member of the Rehoboth Beach Tree Committee, which is an advisory committee making recommendations to the elected mayor. Or Joan volunteers her time to weed and water trees on municipal property once a week and advocates for native, not invasive trees to be planted. Joan is also a key fundraiser, taking names to the engraver for golden leaves that are posted on an artistic tree on the walk of City Hall. The leaves are engraved with the names of donors and their favorite sayings about trees. Joan and other volunteers have worked with the DE Center of Inland Bays to plant hundreds of new trees and to come back later to check on them. Straightening the new trees that might be knocked sideways, Joan has always worked with the center on turtle monitoring and nest building.
Hey, I'm Joan Flaherty, and my hometown is Washington, Pennsylvania. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Well, I do this because I think it's important to help other people and to be involved in your community. I like the idea of reaching out in the community and connecting to people. It's also a good way to give back, because when you've had a lot of luck in your life, or you are feeling pretty settled, not everybody is in that same situation. And so I always think to myself, what are you doing to help others?
How did you get started with volunteering?
Well, when I was in college, a professor talked to me about helping children to read. So I read to children out in a rural area in West Virginia. And I was really taken back by the fact that there were very few books there. And I also volunteered on political campaigns that were local, because local issues mean so much to people. And that's pretty much how I got started, other than the fact that my parents and my family certainly did volunteer work in the community when I was growing up. So I had some examples from my own family, but also when I went to college, I was surrounded by a lot of people who did volunteer work. I feel very humbled, to be honest. I guess I was really taken back by it, because I know that there are lots of volunteers throughout the state, and it makes me want to do even more work, I think, when I think about the award. So I'm very grateful.
Joe Princip of Newcastle County. Joe Princip is a volunteer with Autism Delaware who can be counted on to do anything and everything needed to support families like his, who are living with an impact of an autism spectrum disorder. Joe works every event, offers his shop for storage, finds sponsors to provide pizza for the parties and events, brings a large team to the walks, and helps with the events surrounding the spring race at Dover International Speedway. Joe's consistent support helps Autism Delaware continue to offer a large range of services to families in Delaware who are living with autism.
John Brady of Sussex County. John Brady has been serving as a part of the Boy Scouts of America since he was a child. Growing up with a scout leader father, John learned what it meant to live a life of service, and he has taken that lesson to heart. Other council volunteers have only wonderful things to say about John and his dedication to scouting. He goes to every scouting camp in the area, tries to be at every court of honor possible, and serves as a tremendous resource for scout leaders across the state. Because of his work, the scouting program grew in Sussex County to involve more youth and leaders while increasing financial support for scouting.
Parents instilled with me doing things for our church and our community and my high school, Salesianum School in Wilmington. I've continued that for the better part of about 50 years, and this award today has caught me completely off guard, and I'm stunned, but appreciative.
Kelly Postain of Newcastle County. In 2021, Kelly Postain was instrumental in helping develop and implement Dine More 24, a new aspect of the statewide Giving Day event, Do More 24 Delaware. The Do More 24 Delaware Giving Day event raised nearly $2 million over 24 hours in March 2021 for more than 400 nonprofits serving Delaware. The Dine More initiative was an innovative way to take advantage of the pandemic economy while simultaneously helping to drive businesses to participating restaurants and support nonprofits participating in the Giving Day event. Kelly's work brought together two very different but important industries within our state during a critical time. The $6,000 Kelly helped raise through the Dine More 24 initiative and was awarded through the Do More 24 Delaware Giving Day campaign generated nearly $185,000 in donations, a 30 times return, and motivated hundreds of Delaware nonprofits to activate their supporters and new donors from around the state and world.
My name is Kelly Poston, and I'm from North Wilmington, Delaware. I volunteered at a few different places, but what got me this amazing award was volunteering for Dine More 24, which is an initiative that started last year through Do More 24. I work with an amazing group of people to really work in getting nonprofits some extra money through working with the restaurant industry. We sort of came up with this idea last year, and we knew that the restaurant industries were really struggling, and we wanted to find a way that we could marry helping the restaurant industry as well as nonprofits. And Dine More 24 was born, and We reached out to various restaurants with a lot of help from our community, and we were able to match sponsors with restaurants. So the restaurants didn't lose any money. So the restaurants would host something that would drive traffic to their location. And then the money that they would donate was actually sponsored by other organizations. So we raised over $6,000 with it last year. I was floored. There's been very few times in my life that I was truly and utterly surprised and shocked, and this was one of them. I actually believe the phrase, "Do you have the right person?" Came out when I got my surprise visit. It is an absolute honor. I'm humbled and truly in awe that somebody thought of me to be a nominee for this award, and that I was granted the honor. I don't see what I do as award-winning, or I do it because I love it, and it's something that I want to instill in my son and my family, and something that I hope I can continue to do. So being recognized for it is just icing on the cake, and I'm truly in awe. I still can't believe it.
Lawrence Jackson of Newcastle County. Lawrence Jackson is heavily involved in supporting community organizations across the west side of Wilmington, including Volunteer for West Side Grows Together. He is the first call when they need help on 4th Street and the first one to offer help. Each morning for the past 12 months and prior, he goes out with a trash picker and a bucket to pick up trash around the neighborhood. He helps prep for community events by having tables, chairs, and supplies ready to go, and he immediately knows when something needs attention from the city of Wilmington or other groups, such as when the fence was broken at the 4th and Rodney playground. Lawrence Jackson provides critical on-the-ground feedback and support to community organizations along 4th Street, in addition to being the full-time, unpaid caretaker of the corridor.
He does work hard, and he does care about this community. He does care about every street. He does care about every resident and every house.
Mr. Jackson has become like my adopted grandfather. I tell everybody in the community, as they're like, "That's your grandfather?" He's my papa. Amazing individual. So much that he's even started a movement. So Mr. Jackson cleans up the streets from Broome and most days all the way down to Union, from 4th Street all the way down to Lancaster with one bucket and one picker, and picks up all the trash. And recently we've started seeing other people in the neighborhood with orange buckets and orange pickers.
Mr. J is here for any event. You call, it doesn't matter how tired he is, he will work. And so he's just been like an inspiration, and just to know him, it's just wonderful. And like Felicia, he's become like our adopted community uncle, grandfather.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that with us. Yes.
Father-in-law, as far as in working, he's a workaholic. All right, not only the community, he does all the church functions. He's always on the grounds, and I call him. I be like, "Wow, why you don't call me?" He said, "Harry, I got it." Sometimes I call him and help him too, because he'll never call me. So I got to keep coming up checking on him. But like I said, he's just a workaholic. I love the man to death. He's just awesome. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for everything that you've done for us.
Jackson, just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've always done and what you're going to continue to do. You are a beacon of light in this community, and we appreciate everything that you do and everything that you are as a person. So congrats again, and thank you for all your hard work and dedication.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Yay.
Lynn Robinson of Newcastle County. More than 16 years ago, Lynn Robinson founded Paws for people with the goal to provide pet therapy visits for individuals in need throughout Delaware. As the organization grew, Lynn Robinson continued to volunteer alongside her own dogs. Lynn's golden retriever, Boo Radley, was there with her from the start, and although Boo has since passed on, Lynn's dedicated to pet therapy has been pushed her forward alongside her new friends.
My name's Lynn Robinson. My hometown is actually Havertown, Pennsylvania, but I live in Elkton right now. I do my volunteer service through Paws for People in 4 different states. Our home base is Delaware, and we are involved in the state all the way to the north, all the way to the south. So I visit in places all through the state. But we also have visiting spots for pet therapy in Maryland, a little bit in Pennsylvania, and also a little bit in New Jersey. My volunteer service is a gift that I was given when I adopted a 4-year-old golden retriever out of the newspaper. I didn't really know about pet therapy. I really didn't understand that much about the relationship between dogs and people and the magic that happens. But once I had Boo, who is my dog, I learned from him how vital and how important it is when an animal and a person connect. And that is the volunteer service that I do. I take my animals and I visit with people and share the love and companionship of the animals with folks in need. And what happens is the same magic that happens with me and my dog, or you and your animal, happens when somebody is especially sad or especially lonely or frightened for some reason, or a variety of different reasons. But if someone is in need, the animal seems to calm people, seems to relax people, and that's what I get to do. I get to share animals and I get to watch the magic. I am so excited to have won the Governor's Award. There are many, many reasons, and in actuality, Paws for People, the organization that I founded, has won Governor's Awards in the past, but it's been for the reading program or those people who are trained. Excuse me. So it's really been for groups within Paws for People. But winning this for myself, it's not that I've won it for myself, it's that I really appreciate the recognition that what I'm doing is important, that pet therapy is important, and to me is being recognized by this award because that's what I'm doing and that's what I'm spending my volunteer time doing.
Mary Kendall of Sussex County. Mary Kendall is a devoted volunteer with the Joshua M. Freeman Foundation, JMFF. This past January, the JMFF embarked on an ambitious program to supply creative art nourishment kits for children in the Sussex County schools, as well as students who use the Food Bank of Delaware backpack program in Kent and Sussex counties. Mary registered herself to volunteer for every morning and afternoon shift offered. This was an 8-hour daily commitment for several weeks at a time. Mary also took it upon herself to gather hundreds of empty boxes from local stores so that kits could be assembled and packed in a timely manner. Mary was instrumental in making sure that the JMFF was able to deliver creative nourishment kits to the local school children.
My name is Mary Kendall, and my hometown is now Ocean View, Delaware. I've been serving the Freeman Arts Pavilion for approximately 7 years. I have worked with the scheduled concerts any of the arts performing happening. I've worked with on all aspects of that, from gatekeeper, checking tickets, doing trash, setting up, all aspects. I've done everything that there is there, including concession stands. And then I've also worked with the creative arts nourishment packages that we did last fall for the schools and in Sussex County. It is so hard to put into words how much enjoyment I get out of doing this. I love seeing the people, the patrons, the friends I've made with volunteers and patrons, because I have patrons now that come in and recognize me right away and walk up and give me a hug. I haven't seen you yet this year, or it's been a little while, or something along those lines. And the Freeman Arts Pavilion staff are outstanding. I mean, they have everything planned out so well, and everything works so smoothly. I can't honestly say I've ever worked for another volunteer that works as well as Freeman Arts Pavilion. Shocked, overcome. I never expected it. I never in my wildest dreams ever thought anything was coming down for me. I'm the kind of person that I like being the Indian and not the chief. So being recognized for something that I did, that I took the volunteering for granted because I enjoy it so much, that ever expected anything as shocking as being awarded by the. I was at a loss for words.
Mary Sue Wilson of Newcastle County. A volunteer with a therapeutic writing and ongoing training program at Carousel Park, Mary Sue Wilson works with children and adults living with disabilities and helps them to receive the benefits of therapeutic writing. Mary Sue has developed a connection with every student that works closely to ensure that they receive the maximum benefits of the program. When needed, Mary Sue also steps in to assist with special events and ensures that the program continues to grow and support as many individuals as possible.
Mary Sue Wilson, Newark, Delaware. Volunteer with therapeutic writing, students who use horses as a means of therapy to improve their physical, mental, and emotional conditions. And I also volunteer with lesson duty. I help with the horses in preparation for riders, and also I help with events. This is an amazing honor. I am overwhelmed and so thankful that I was nominated. This is a lot. This is very much.
Monica Lee of Sussex County. Monica Lee has extensive experience in service, particularly in the area of disaster relief, when a need arose for a statewide cadre of individuals who were able to respond to disasters quickly. Monica agreed to take the lead and create the program. Starting from scratch, Monica quickly created the structure to onboard and engage volunteers, as well as the processes to be able to deploy these volunteers quickly in support to disaster organization. When Hurricane Ida ravaged a portion of Wilmington, the program Monica helped build was tested for the first time, and volunteers were able to respond in less than 24 hours to support as needed. Monica's expertise in both disaster response and volunteer management were crucial in developing this program.
Monica Lee. I am currently in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and my service was coordinating volunteers. Sorry. What I enjoy most about disaster specifically and volunteering in general is the amount that you get to give back. giving back to the community is something that has been instilled in me and through my family, since birth, basically. Both of my parents were volunteer firefighters. I was expected to volunteer from the time I was old enough to volunteer in various organizations. So it was just something we did. It was part of my family's culture and part of our values. It came to mean more once I started becoming directly involved in providing assistance through the Red Cross, providing the monetary assistance and the support and information and help and training that I did as a caseworker, as a VISTA, and as a DPM. There is no better feeling than to be that safety net. I was absolutely floored. I did not expect it at all. It wasn't even something that even came into my mind. It was just a project that had been presented to me that I knew how to do, what to do, and I knew what was needed, and never once thought about anything like that. That just wasn't. This was a job that I could do to help people, and that's why I did it. So I was just absolutely gobsmacked at getting the award, and I'm incredibly honored, beyond measure.
Noah Abigail Mills of Newcastle County. Noah Mills is the founder of Rethink EDU, a nonprofit organization with a focus on providing innovative and modernization to educational techniques, as well as providing educational resources on a multitude of levels throughout the state. Noah has partnered with Del Dot to establish and create a community service cleanup program that provides community service hours to students across the state in their respective academic groups. She also has created and distributed an annual Noah A. Mills Scholarship from her organization. In addition, she is currently working with state leaders, Senator Nicole Port, and more to rewrite State Regulation 615, shifting it to make it mandatory for schools statewide to provide mental health resources to students who are absent due to mental health issues.
My name is Noah Mills, and my hometown is Chester, Pennsylvania. As a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the daughter of 2 pastors, and also a founder of my own personal community service organization. Community service has been something that has always been super important to me after seeing really the impact of what it does for others. Having the opportunity to not only serve the state of Delaware, but the state of Pennsylvania, and all of the efforts that I've had the opportunity to share my own $500 scholarship out of my organization every year, but also having the opportunity to serve in multiple capacities in my full-time job as a community engagement manager, and also having the opportunity to serve, the state of Delaware through, other arenas, whether it's services for holidays or regular opportunities in which I myself have put on, multiple programmings for more than 46 nonprofits in the state of Delaware, and even this past weekend have an opportunity to give over 450 resources to the Friendship House and the Newcastle County Hope Center. Volunteering is something that's very close and dear to my heart, and I'm very honored to have received this award, just out of these efforts as well. I actually feel very blessed to receive the Governor's Award. I had no idea, that this award of this caliber was being something that was considered for myself. I've had the opportunity and very, very blessed to have received multiple recognitions by the state of Delaware this year, but this one means something different to me. Naturally, we as volunteers, those of us that, operate in this system, we don't really do it for recognition, but just to note that someone values your service and values your time and values your work and your efforts into the community that you truly want to develop. I find that it means the world to me. So I have it hanging up, in my home. And it really is something that I absolutely am not only grateful for, but I'm truly thankful to have received as well.
Pam Salam of Newcastle County. Pam Salam is not a member of any organization, but goes out on her own to collect and prepare food to serve individuals and families experiencing homelessness in Newcastle County. Pam visits parks throughout the county and meets with individuals to make sure that their needs for food and basic supplies are met, even using her own resources to purchase needed items. Her meals always include fruits, vegetables, meat, and dessert, and are prepared and served fresh each day.
My name is Pam, and my hometown is Wilmington, Delaware, the Southbridge community. Positive thinking, positive change believes that if we help one change their thinking, then their behaviors change. And one of those ways that we're really working to perfect is feeding the people. So that's food for the soul. So we go out and we feed at least 5 times a week, and we have different sites, but each site is about 20 to 30 people a day. I just have a passion for the people. It's a terrible thing to have a need and not have somebody to be there for that need. And been there, done that, and I just try to make sure I provide a service where we have a resource that we can try at least help those who are in need. I'm still in shock. I was so surprised on the day of, and I seen different people, like my family members, show up, and I still had no clue. I seen you show up, Tina, and I still didn't have a clue as to what was going on. So I feel honored. I feel rewarded. And I'm just excited that someone in the community, Southbridge here, was able to represent the kindness that we have here.
Raymond Bryant of Sussex County. Raymond Bryant divides his considerable volunteer time between 2 organizations he cares for deeply. After finding an injured turkey vulture and working with volunteers at Tri-State Bird Rescue and Research, Ray saw an opportunity to help care for birds and began volunteering himself. Ray serves as a transporter and a member of the re-nesting team. Ray also serves as a community liaison on the board of the Harry K. Foundation, an organization dedicated to the defeat of childhood hunger. Ray uses his connections and organizational skills to plan events and work to distribute food boxes to families in need.
I'm Ray Bryant, and I live in Rehoboth Beach. I volunteer with several, in particular Tri-State Bird Rescue and the Harry K. Foundation. Volunteering for the Harry K. Foundation, I was involved with packing boxes for families in need, delivering food to those families, setting up drops in the community along with other organizations where families in need could come and receive boxes of non-perishable and sometimes things like meat and milk, things that would help sustain families. And with Tri-State Bird Rescue, I'm currently what they call a transporter and a member of the Raptor Renesting Team. As a transporter, I go and either pick up or capture an injured bird throughout southern Delmarva, and then helped to transport that bird up to Tri-State in sort of a Pony Express system. I also am involved with releasing birds that have been rehabbed and need to come back to the area where they were found. And as a member of the renesting raptor team, starting anywhere at the end of February, early March, when there are issues with trees and weather and nests coming down, I work to put raptors, owls, hawks back in nests or to help rebuild nests or build replacement nests, so they have a way of getting their family back together, so to speak, and moving on with the rest of their life. Embarrassed. There are so many people in the Harry K Foundation, so many people in Tri-State Bird Rescue, so many people in service organizations and nonprofits that work so hard and do so much. I'm just a cog in a wheel, and at Tri-State, where I spend a lot of time, there's just wonderful volunteers, and any one of them is deserving of being recognized for the service and what they do. So, I'm very appreciative that I was nominated, but a little, as I say, embarrassed. It isn't about me, it's about all service. And certainly I look at this award as reflecting the principles of two great organizations and the membership, and really accept it and honor it on behalf of all of us.
Richard Carver of Newcastle County. Richard Carver's knowledge of technology enabled him to facilitate Literacy Delaware's transition to a virtual instruction model, allowing the adult English language learners to continue their studies even as the COVID-19 pandemic shut down in-person classes. The monumental undertaking of pivoting the entire operation to online learning could not have occurred without the expertise of volunteer tutor and now resident IT guru Richard Carver. Rich conducted numerous workshops on how to use remote platforms and share tutoring and remote teaching ideas to inform and engage tutors. He developed a tutor resource intranet, which contains links to helpful websites with resources for online teaching and continues to conduct mentoring sessions for new volunteers during tutor training, as well as offering one-on-one teach assistance whenever necessary.
Hi, I'm Rich Carver, and I'm from North Wilmington in Delaware. I represent Literacy Delaware. My favorite time is when I deliver a Chromebook to a learner, and then they can connect up with their tutor, because I get to be I get to see what they're seeing, and I get to help them make that connection, and to see the look in their eyes. They want to learn English, and they are very anxious to do that, and they haven't had the opportunity to connect so directly with their tutor. And so just seeing that, seeing their gratefulness is just a very rewarding thing. Well, winning this award feels very good. It was an honor to win it. I certainly wasn't expecting it, but it kind of reinforces the fact that what I'm doing is something good for the people that I'm serving.
Ron Russell of Sussex County. Ron Russell, also known as the Birdman, is a member of the Nanticoke River Watershed Conservancy Board. He not only has achieved the installation of 16 bird boxes at Chapel Branch Trail at Woodland Road, but also has been successful in having 38 birds that have fled. When a bird fledges, it has enough strength in its wings to fly. Ron also has committed himself to cleaning up a busy street of public roads along the edge of the nature area, ensuring that visitors and wildlife have a clean space. Ron's work with the Nanticoke River Watershed Conservancy has enhanced its reach, and his knowledge of birds has been a tremendous asset to the bird and bird population in western Sussex County.
decided to be a volunteer for organizations. One of those I volunteered for was the NRWC, and that's why I'm doing the things I'm doing. Initially, our executive director asked me to take care of the birds, like putting up nesting boxes, doing bird counts, like that, and eventually also got a large portion of the road along our property, because the person who was responsible for doing it, no longer do it, so I still take a trash off the road. Very surprised. A lot of different things, organizations mine don't feel I deserve it really. I just do this out of my own. Trying to give back to the community. Wasn't expecting it. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate what everybody did. I'm still not validated things, but very appreciative of what you all did.
Roxanne Ferguson of Newcastle County. Roxanne Ferguson is a lifelong volunteer who has worked with Rotary International for more than 15 years, serving in leadership and working with a variety of causes and projects. Roxanne has volunteered with Stockings for Soldiers, Girl Scouts of the Chesapeake Bay, the Newcastle Chamber of Commerce, the American Cancer Society, and as a skills volunteer with Middletown, Odessa, Townsend soccer program. Additionally, she is currently serving with the Jean Burke Senior Center, where she helps support the MOT senior communities. Roxanne's commitment to service lead her to a position as co-host of the Pathways to Service Rotary radio show, where she discusses important topics relevant to the community and informs the community about projects and services.
Roxanne Ferguson, and Wilmington, Delaware. So what inspired me to serve was growing up in a family that valued service to the community and service above self. I believe that, in life we can always give back, and, we can always make more money. We can get another job or win the Powerball or, have some great investments, but we're only given 24 hours in every day. And what you choose to do with that is truly powerful. And by giving back, a lot of folks believe that you make a difference in the life of someone else, some whom you may never even meet. And that's totally true. But the biggest difference that you make really is for yourself. It was a truly humbling experience when you do what you love in giving back to others and making a difference for yourself as well. You don't realize that there's awards out there for that. I think it's amazing to be part of a group of individuals who truly give back to our state of Delaware, and all those who can be a part of something that's way larger than themselves and just truly make a difference for our community. And I would really encourage other folks to get out there and do the same, because really when you're making a difference for someone else, you're really making a difference for yourself as well.
Ruth Pryor of Sussex County. An avid volunteer, Ruth Pryor serves as a volunteer and as the treasurer at the Cape and Lopin Food Basket, as a shoe shopper for Clothing Our Kids, as a community educator and facilitator for an Alzheimer's Association caregiver support group, and sings in the St. Edmund Catholic Church Choir. In addition to all these service activities, Ruth serves on the board for Lunch with a Purpose. Her work has helped to ease the impact of food insecurity, help those struggling with Alzheimer's diagnosis, and support dozens of local nonprofit groups through fundraising activities.
My name is Ruth Pryor. My hometown is Millsboro, Delaware.
and well, there's like 4 or 5 nonprofits that I work with. I'm not going to say my favorite, but my heart is always with the Alzheimer's Association. I think you know I'm the treasurer and a volunteer, though, for the Cape Henlopen Food Basket. I'm on the board of Lunch with a Purpose. I'm the person who gets all the applications for the future lunches. I shop for shoes for an organization called Clothing Our Kids, which supplies clothes to all young school-age children in Sussex County who have a need. I am in the choir at St. Edmund's Church in Rehoboth, and for the 3 or 4 months from December until March, I'm part of an organization that cooks for the homeless. And that's it. I actually have someone who lives in my neighborhood who was in my group for the last several years, and her husband passed this summer, and he was young. He had just turned 70. And it was very, very difficult for her, but she let me know in no uncertain terms that the only way she got through it all was by coming to our groups. So that was very uplifting, and it just makes you want to keep doing it. To be 100% honest, a little bit embarrassed, because I don't do what I do to get an award, but also honored.
Sharon Fagony of Newcastle County. Sharon Fagony has been a volunteer with Tri-State Bird Rescue and Research since February 2007 and averages more than 350 hours a year in service. Sharon provides supportive care to bird patients, enriches their enclosures with natural habitat, and serves as a transporter. Sharon responds to calls for help in both Kent and Newcastle counties, giving injured birds a ride to Tri-State's clinic in Newark for needed treatment and care. When necessary, Sharon also works with Sussex County transporters to meet missed date, sometimes on a moment's notice, to transport injured birds. Sharon is vital in the work of Tri-State Bird Rescue's work to provide care for injured birds.
My name is Sharon Fagony, and I'm from Middletown, Delaware. I volunteer at Tri-State Bird Rescue and Research in Newark, Delaware. Well, I'm a real outdoors person, and I grew up in northern Maine and spent a lot of time outside, and my parents used to take us on hikes in the woods and talk about birds. And I've always been interested in birds. And we are transplants, my husband and I. We came here in the mid-'80s because of his job, and we moved down to Middletown in 2001. And I read something in the paper about Tri-State and the fact that they were looking for volunteers. They had an orientation program. They were looking for volunteers for bird care. And I really wanted to learn more about birds. This is a wonderful area for watching birds. It's a migratory path for all kinds of shorebirds. And so I started working. I volunteered. I went to the orientation program, and I never looked back after that. I've loved every minute of the time I've spent there since then. So. Well, all I can say is that I appreciate this recognition, and I'm just very proud to be one of the many volunteers that are doing good work in the state of Delaware. I was really shocked and very pleased, as was my family.
Shelly Smith of Newcastle County. In her time with CASA Delaware, court-appointed special advocates, Shelly Smith has accepted multiple challenging teen cases. As a CASA, Shelly works with young people who need a court-appointed special advocate. These situations are always challenging and require a dedicated individual who can build relationships and advocate for the young people involved. Her clients are spread across hundreds of miles, and some have required specialized care in out-of-state placements. Shelley manages to forge strong working relationships with everyone on the team that serves each of the young people, and her work has made a tremendous impact on the lives of each of her clients.
So my name is Shelly Smith. I'm from Newcastle County. I live in Middletown, and I am a CASA, a court-appointed special advocate through the Office of the Child Advocate. I think what would be my favorite part, besides the relationship that I get to have with these children, is when I get to represent them either to the adults in their lives or friends or peers or even in court. So a lot of times in court, I will testify about the child. And I think my favorite part is where I get to just kind of let everyone in on what they're like. So I get to know these kids really well. And it's really a great time for me to highlight their strengths, celebrate them, anything that they've had that has been a great thing in their life, maybe some progress that they've made, or just give everyone kind of a different glimpse of what than what they usually see of the child, or maybe that they just don't know. Because again, I get to know them really well, so it's just nice for me to give everyone kind of that little peek that I get to know, because I do get to know the child so well. Well, I'm very honored. I was very surprised and also honored and grateful.
Sophie Phillips of Newcastle County. As Miss Delaware 2021, Sophie Phillips committed to a year of full-time volunteer service to the people of Delaware. For 9/11 Day this year, Sophie led a team of volunteers to build a pollinator and vegetable garden in the South Bridge neighborhood in Wilmington. Sophie worked with a local garden center to carefully choose plants that are native to this area, and then worked with a team of volunteers to bring everything to the site. Once there, Sophie taught the volunteers, including local children, how to prepare the soil, do the planting, and care for the plants as they grow. Their goal was to have a vegetable garden that can feed local families while supporting local pollinators.
My name is Sophie Phillips, and I live in Bear, Delaware. I started volunteering probably at 3 years old. My dad is part of the Lions Club where I grew up in New York, so he had me outside doing all different types of volunteer work since I was a tiny little kid. And I decided in high school that I was not just going to help with volunteering, but I was going to become the president of the high school version of the Lions Club. So I've cared so much about volunteering and community service for my entire life. So I knew I wanted to continue that when I came to Delaware. That's actually why I decided to run for the position of Miss Delaware at all, because it's a community service-based organization, and I wanted to do what I could to make a difference here in Delaware. My favorite moment happened while I was working on the community garden, actually. Wayne Marshall has a grandson named Lamar Marshall. He just turned 7 recently. And when I showed up to the garden, he was doing all these dance moves, like flips and kicks. And I assumed that he had had a dance teacher before, but he did not have a dance teacher. So I posted a video of him on social media with permission from his mother and his grandfather. And Alvin Ailey Dance Company in New York City saw it and reached out to a dancer that is with that company who grew up in Wilmington, and she made that connection with Wilmington Ballet, and they offered him a full scholarship for the year. And we've been interviewed by, NBC Nightly News, ABC World News, all these different news stations because of that experience that I had and that LJ had meeting with Wilmington Ballet and starting his journey dancing. So that was unbelievable. I never thought that would happen just from volunteering at an event. So volunteering can literally be life-changing. It is such an honor to win this award. I do this work not to get recognized at all. It's really because I just care so much about our community and I want to make a difference for them. But to be recognized truly means the world, and it brings a light to what I'm doing and what other people in the state can do for communities around Delaware.
Stephanie James of Newcastle County. As a volunteer with the Chesapeake Bay Girl Scout Council for the past 15 years, Stephanie James has served in many ways, including as the leader of Troop 537 and as the cookie mom for many years. Her service has inspired and encouraged numerous young women, including those she has mentored through their Bronze, Silver, and Gold Award projects. Stephanie also serves as a mentor to new troop leaders, helping them with program ideas, supplies, materials, encouragement, and assistance with difficult situations.
Stephanie Sue DeMartin of Newcastle County. Stephanie DeMartin is an active volunteer with Special Olympics of Delaware. Athletes with Special Olympics who have played a sport that Stephanie coaches are rewarded with encouragement and confidence in their ability to perform in competitions and highlight their new skills. She always remembers names and creates fun at practice year-round with 3 different sports. The Pull R Express Plunge team she runs broke fundraising records last year by raising $46,000. Stephanie not only volunteers for Special Olympics, but she also is the president of the Northern Delaware USBC Bowling Association, serving as a volunteer with their board in the community and helping bowlers and their families in need.
Steph DiMartini, and I'm from Newcastle, Delaware. I volunteer at Special Olympics Delaware. Started about 27 years ago, and I fell in love with a little girl. Her name was Amber. She was 2 years old. She had spina bifida, and I worked in a bowling center, and I am also a bowler. And this little girl with spina bifida at 2 years old rolled up and pushed the ball like you would not believe, with so much energy, and she just inspired me. She was part of Special Olympics bowling. I started coaching bowling with her, and has grown ever since then into pretty much all of my spare time is volunteering with Special Olympics. I was completely blown away. I felt extremely humble, and I said, I don't do what I do for awards. I do what I do for smiles, basically. And, you know, I tried to downplay this award, and everyone said, what, are you kidding? This is a big deal. And I'm not really good at saying thank you, and that's, you know, just not me. But after I was notified and it kind of sank in, I'm thrilled. I mean, it's a huge honor, and I still feel like I didn't do anything to deserve this award, but I am thrilled by it and extremely humbled.
Ted Mariner of Sussex County. Ted Mariner serves in many different roles at the Nanticoke Senior Center, including as a bus driver, delivering homebound meals, and hosting Veterans Day and Memorial Day events. Ted is always willing to give a hand when something is needed. Also a volunteer with VFW Post 4961. Ted is a veteran who uses his time to support other veterans and their families to feel remembered and respected.
Big surprise.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Ted, what does it mean to you to receive a governor's award?
It's just, I don't know, never expected it. Never expected it at all.
What kind of things do you do here at the Senior Center?
Whatever's needed. And that just about covers it. Whatever's needed. Whatever they need me to do, I do. One way or the other, I get it done.
And why do you think other people should volunteer?
It's a good feeling. You know, knowing that you're helping somebody else. One day I might need help myself. And I've needed help 2 or 3 times. It's always been there.
And how long have you been here volunteering?
Oh, God. 20-some years.
What made you get started?
Well, I used to volunteer at the hospital. I volunteered for 12 years at the hospital in the emergency room. And I loved that. I learned a lot there, too. You can learn a lot if you just sit and listen a lot, too. But it's interesting. This is just never expected nothing like this. I thank you all very much.
Vivian Montana Goodman of Sussex County. Vivian supports multiple nonprofits in achieving their missions. She cooks meals for the Shepherd's Office in Georgetown, raises money for the Alzheimer's Association through a community dinner, and works with Lasagna Love to cook meals for anyone in need. Vivian also serves as a purchasing agent for a project that serves Delaware foster children, making sure that resources are stretched to provide pajamas and journals for children living in the foster care system.
Hi, I'm Vivian Montana Goodman, and I live in Ocean View, Delaware. I volunteer for various nonprofits. One is the Alzheimer's Association of Sussex County. The other one is the Shepherd's Office in Georgetown. And I also volunteer for the Duffel Bag Project, also of Sussex County in Delaware. I've always felt that I have to give back. It's always just been in me for my whole life. I'm a retired teacher, as I said, from New York City. Seeing children in my classroom who've not had the same luck that I've had growing up and my children growing up, there's been a need to give, and I've always been raised by my parents. If you could give to others, you do it. And that's what I believe in. So if I could give my services, if I could give my time, I just do it. That's the right thing to do. I'm overwhelmed with this. This was something I never, ever expected. I am definitely a person who never wants to be in the spotlight. I never expected this. I feel I don't deserve this, in all honesty. I do it out of pure commitment. I like to be in the background. I don't like to be recognized, but let me tell you, it does feel nice. I'm honored, I'm humbled for sure, but all I want to do is help others. I thank you all for this beautiful honor, but all I want to do is keep on helping.
William Chick Glendon of Kent County. William Chick Glendon has been a volunteer EMT in Delaware for the past 30 years, continuing to provide coverage at least one night a week. Even while undergoing treatment for cancer and during the height of COVID-19 pandemic, Chick continued to work to ensure the Frederica Volunteer Fire Department's ambulances were always available when there was a need. Chick also serves as a volunteer mayor for the town of Frederica and oversaw the addition of a new park in the town.
My name is William C. Glendon. I live in Frederica, Delaware. I'm a volunteer with the Frederica Volunteer Fire Company. I do fire and ambulance. I've been an EMT for over 30 years. When I got back with the fire company a few years back, I got into the fire side, and then I changed over to the ambulance side, and I just kind of fell in there. I was an ambulance captain for 25 years till a couple years ago, and now I just do the ambulance. I don't have to do any of the paperwork for taking care of it. Just ride. For my community, I want to give back to them. They've been good to me. I like to be good to them. I was very surprised. I didn't really realize that all those people up in the firehouse that night, a bunch of them were family, some of my co-workers here at the town hall, and it just hit me as a surprise. I was very honored to be even thought about for something. I don't do this for awards. I never have. I think this is the first one I've ever gotten.